If you've ever been told everything looks normal, but still don't feel yourself, this podcast is for you. Welcome to the Cornerstone Integrative Healing Podcast, where we're changing the face of healthcare so you can understand your body and take your health back. Because the truth is, most people are left managing symptoms without ever being told why their body is struggling in the first place.
Here, we take a root cause, whole body approach, connecting your physical, emotional, and spiritual health so you can finally start moving forward. And most importantly, we point you to the one and only true healer, Jesus. Hello, I'm Kari, Coody, your co-host. I'm a pharmacist turned integrative health practitioner, and after 20 years in the traditional healthcare system, I saw firsthand just how many people were left without real answers, and I knew there had to be a better way.
Oh, hey, I'm Jenn, Patriarca. God gave me a desire to help others through natural healing many years ago. And after more than 20 years in functional nutrition, he brought Kari and I together for this mission. A mission to help you understand your body, trust what it's telling you, and give you the tools and confidence to take your health back.
Through these conversations, you can expect simple, straightforward guidance on real health topics, along with practical steps that support your body, your mind, and your faith. Because healing isn't just physical, and it doesn't have to feel so overwhelming. We're really glad that you're here, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss new episodes every Monday. Hey there, it's Kari here with Jenn. Welcome back to the Cornerstone Integrative Healing Podcast. We love to gather every week and just have conversations around just various health topics and just help you to think about your health differently and approach it differently and to just truly put Christ at the center of it all. And so we're back for another episode today, and we're going to be talking about something that I don't know about you, Jenn, but I've heard other people say in various words, like, I feel like I'm doing all the things right, but why is it not working? Like, why isn't my healthy lifestyle working? And I think it's easy to want to put these things into some type of formula that we can, 1 + 1 = 2, but it just doesn't work like that.
Wow.
For a reason, for good reason, probably, right? Where a lot of times God teaches us stuff through this because our health is important and it's easily made an idol as well. That's part of this conversation too. But yeah, we just wanted to talk about some of these things. And hopefully, if you feel frustrated, if you've thought this before, hopefully this episode is just going to help you maybe think about it a little bit differently and to just take a deep breath and kind of have some peace, right?
Yes, absolutely. So I guess also the goal is not to discourage the healthy habits because those are obviously important, but to sort of explain that healthy habits only work as well as the body's ability to respond to them. And so, a lot of people will say, well, I need this supplement or I need this nutrient in my diet. But, some of the questions that we need to ask is, okay, are you absorbing it? Right? Is it being broken down and are you absorbing it? So we kind of want to go through some of those kind of main points of a healthy style is important, but if your body doesn't have the capacity to respond, then sometimes healthy habits alone might not be able to produce the results that you're looking for. And so, as you said, if you're eating healthy, if you're exercising, if you're taking your supplements, you're managing your stress, and you still don't feel yourself, you still feel exhausted, you still feel inflamed, you're still dealing with digestive issues and anxiety, we want to talk just a little bit about, okay, why is that?
Yeah, it's not because those things aren't necessarily the right things. They might
Correct.
be. It's maybe not the right thing for you right now.
Right. And, it's not a discipline problem. Some people are like, well, I'm not trying hard enough. Many of our clients are incredibly, disciplined. So that's not necessarily the issue. It's that their body might not have the ability to respond to that. And so, yeah, we just want to sort of talk about some of those things. I think the first one is the healthy foods. A lot of people will say, when we say, well, how's your diet? They'll say good. And then which,
Yeah.
and they really do think it's good and they're trying, but eating what they think are nutritious foods and eating foods that are just marketed as nutritious foods are two different things. And so,
yeah,
How much of the diet comes from packaged, quote unquote, health foods? Are there hidden sugars, refined seed oils? Is it ultra processed? And I'm even guilty of it. Like, protein bars and protein powders. Like, yes, is it a simple way to get more protein in? Yes. But, are you getting good quality protein, fiber, what we call cross nutrients or micronutrients or trace nutrients by eating diversity? Um, marketing can often create
Yeah.
this health kind of halo around products that still might contribute to inflammation and blood sugar instability. So I feel like that's one thing that we can look at. The other thing is our environment. A lot of people are living in mold. I can't tell you how many people are living in mold that didn't even know it, including myself, right?
Yeah.
Um, they're exposed to things in their water, whether it's tap water, well water. We find a lot of that, right, Kari? It's surprising.
Yeah.
And we're going to do an episode on minerals in water, but you'd be surprised how much water is contributing
Yeah.
and might be working against you.
Mhm.
Plastics, air quality, um, things that, sometimes we don't have control over, but that might be affecting the body. Um, even like, runoff. We had someone who was swimming. Was he swimming in a lake, Carrie?
Oh, yeah, he was training for a triathlon, I think.
Right. And he was exposed to giardia because there was runoff from a dairy farm in that lake. Um, and he was having loose stools and diarrhea. So again, you don't even think that you're exposed,
Yeah,
right?
there's so many. I know. I mean, at the time we're recording this, there's lots of outbreaks right now from
Well,
lettuce
that
and
too.
yeah, so it's just
Yes. Um, and then I think the other one is the body under constant stress. So even if your mind doesn't feel stressed, right, you feel like emotionally you might be good. There might be things like your sleep isn't restorative. Is your exercise too much? I can't tell you how many times we found women who were
Oh,
exercising
yeah.
too much for ab- their body's ability to handle the recovery.
Right.
Um, And so that's something that, also that needs to be looked at. There's physical stress versus emotional stress. And while you might not feel the emotional stress, there's physical stressors. And so we need to go into, um, then looking at what might you haven't measured. Like you looked at blood work, but it's not showing up on blood work. Remember, blood work, the body tries to keep the blood homeostatic, meaning very much undisturbed, right? And so we might not find nutritional deficiencies or, um, have you looked beyond the natural or sorry, beyond the standard lab ranges, right?
Mhm.
Um, so sometimes there's things that we're just not looking at, that could be a problem. So, physically too, things that you might not think play into it, like caffeine, right? Is that running your stress response? You think, oh, 1 cup of coffee is fine. Um, but is there mold? Is it, non-organic? Are you reacting to the caffeine and not know it?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so those are just some things that I think, especially, things that we think we're doing, we're drinking water. Well, we found with some of the clients that the water is actually dehydrating them because, they're using RO, it's not remineralized, it's not structured. And so are they really staying hydrated? Are they actually getting more dehydrated? And we see slight dehydration on labs quite often. Yes, Carrie?
Yeah, for sure. I did also think about, like, how much we're indoors and how much the EMF dehydrates us too when we're just not outside and grounding and getting that, power back to our cells and hydrating ourselves that way or powering ourselves that way, I guess. It just all goes together. I mean, you know, it's not
Yeah.
like one thing. I guess maybe that's one of the things that we hope you get from this, right?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
rarely just one thing that you might not be doing right.
Right. It's the bottleneck, right? Um, and, we just keep adding more stressors, and it's like the body's like, okay, the bucket's getting full. And even if you're doing the lifestyle things, there might be things that the body, isn't or it's not readily available. Um deep immune burdens. A lot of people don't think about teeth. We find a lot of people that if they've had past root canals, um, that are contributing to immune dysfunction. Again, you're doing all the and we find this we've probably found it 4 or 5 times, right, Kari,
Yeah.
with clients?
Well, I mean,
Um,
I got my root canal removed too. Yeah, that was definitely it wasn't a huge I mean, it was a huge factor, but it wasn't like I had a lot of symptoms that would have necessarily pointed to that, but I've been surprised at how much of a drain it was on my system, just recovering from that. It was 2 years ago, I think, or maybe just 1, I can't remember.
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, you don't realize how all of those things add up. And I know this is primarily an audience of women, and I just think about how much women have on their shoulders and how much we have to do, but also feel like we have to do. I was having a conversation with a few ladies at the dinner table recently, and we were just talking about, you know, they were talking about ADHD and how like they can't concentrate on one thing because they're thinking about the 10 other things they need to do. And I was just like, well, maybe the 10 other things that you need to do just need to disappear. Just don't do them. I mean, and I know that's funny. I know we have to do some things, but I think sometimes we just feel like we have to do everything. And so a lot of this to me, I see is mindset. And I know that's been my issue in the past too. It's like we're just trying to do all the things and we want to have control over all the things and we want to do all of them right. It's exhausting.
Yes.
It really is. And
Yeah.
and that's the gist that when I talk to other women, that's what I feel. They're just tired,
Yeah.
you know? And again, we live in a fallen world. I mean, we're gonna have sin in our life. We're gonna chase the wrong things. We're gonna put other things above the Lord. But the more that we can wake up every morning and have peace with knowing that God is in control and that we're not in control, I think that a lot of this you would see would get better. Our health would get better. Our relationships would get better, which would, of course, and then help our health get better too. It just kind of all fits together. We would enjoy life more. I think I see. I mean, what do you think, Jen? Do you see a lot of women really enjoying their life and
No.
I mean,
No.
you
No,
know,
yeah, no, I feel convicted as you're talking because it's truly it's me. It's like we want for me, I should speak for myself, like the control, like wanting to control,
yeah,
make sure everything gets done and is done to a certain standard and um instead of concentrating on, okay, what do I need to do for me and my family that's really important physically, not only physically, which that's what we just talked about physically,
yeah,
right? But emotionally and spiritually. Like it's a b it's I think it's a I don't wanna say it's a fight, but it's a choice, like you
it
said,
is
every day.
definitely. Yeah,
Every day that we have to choose, okay, our our bodies were designed to repair, that it was designed for resilience. What are we fighting,
yeah,
right? What are we pushing away? What are we controlling? Um, the people pleasing, I feel like the need to just, kind of fit in to society for lack of a better,
yeah,
what
yeah,
can we, as Christians, we should look different, right? So how do we look different, right? And not that not all of us want to, stand out. But unfortunately, I think sometimes that's just what happens and being okay with that, right? Doing less because the world tells us to do more.
yeah, exactly. And I totally understand. There are things that we have to do every day. Like, yeah, when we need to take care, we gotta eat.
Yeah,
We gotta get stuff for our kids. I think it's just the way that we approach it. That's why so much of this I think is a mindset,
for sure.
and that looks different for everybody. I can't sit here and say, "You don't need to do this and this," It's just we should be asking God what He wants us to do. "What do you have for me today, Lord?" And, to me, it's like, every morning, we just have to wake up, and that has to be our focus, like, we have to seek what He wants versus what we want, and it's so easy to get off track. Like, nobody's perfect at this. I surely am not, but that if we fight for anything, that's what we fight for because yes, there are things we have to do, but I wanna do what he wants me to do versus what Kari wants, because what
Yeah.
Kari wants is probably gonna lead down the wrong path, I'm just we're just human.
Right. So if you feel like your quote healthy lifestyle isn't working and you're doing all the things, I think, what we're kind of talking about is okay, how do we go back to looking at maybe our mindset? What if our mindset is a big piece of the problem? Um, the chronic stress, which we talked about, um, while we
Well,
might not feel it.
sorry, I just thought about something. I didn't want
Oh,
to
go
forget.
ahead.
It makes me think about why do we, if we're talking about our healthy habits aren't working, why do we want to be healthy in the first place? Do we want to look a certain way? Do we want to look better than our neighbor or whatever? Do we want to fit in a certain size jean? Or, I mean, there's so many different reasons that we pursue health, but it should be to do what God's called us to do. Like, it should be to do, like, show up well for our family and our neighbors and the people that we come in contact with and show them God's love. Like, that should be why we pursue health.
Yes. And I think
Anything
that's,
else is going to lead you down the wrong path.
yeah. And a healthy lifestyle, while it's important, is I think is it's important, but I think the bigger question, I think what we're talking about here is, are we pursuing and living in what God has called us to? Because if we're not, I think that's where the big problem is. And that starts with mindset. Just waking up every day and choosing, you know, not our will, but his will, um, plays a big role in how we feel emotionally,
Yeah.
physically, and of course, spiritually.
And just being in gratitude, no matter what your circumstances, that just puts us in a whole different state, right? I mean, if we're thinking about not absorbing our food or not using our supplements, or we take supplements, but our body can't really use them, like, I think it all goes back to, like, what state is our nervous system in, and gratitude really does put us in a peaceful state.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier to focus on what's negative and maybe what we feel like is not working. And if that's how you feel today, listen, I've been there. I'll probably be there later on today or tomorrow. It kind of just ebbs and flows. I definitely get frustrated, but just try to lean more into prayer, praying about it, leaning into what God has already given you, being grateful. And He's going to lead and provide. I think at the end of the day, we have to realize that for whether it's our health or our finances or a situation that we're just, desperate for it to be different. It all goes back to we're not in control. Like, God's will, He's sovereign. He's going to provide in the way that He feels is best, and we have to be okay with that, or else we're gonna be not well, physically,
Yes.
mentally, emotionally, spiritually, so
Yeah. So if you're still dealing with the anxiety, the digestive issues, and you're wondering what's missing, we just really encourage you to look at the mindset of, your mindset over your body. What are you asking it to do? And is it for the right reasons?
yeah.
As well as digging into those caveats that we mentioned in the beginning of the physical things that could be worth exploring. But we hope this episode was helpful for you. It was thought provoking that, if you're doing all the things and your body isn't responding like it should, maybe there are some just deeper things we want you to think about. So we'd love to pray for you. If you have a prayer request or we can, help you in any way, please reach out to us at hello@cornerstoneintegrativehealing.com. We'd love to connect with you. Also, please, if you are, looking for some ways that you might want to work with us, please go to cornerstoneintegrativehealing.com /start. There's some good opportunities there that you can look through that could help. And we're always here for you. So yeah, thanks for listening. If this episode has served you in any way, drop a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We'd love it if you share any aha moments or takeaways on Instagram and tag us at Cornerstone Integrative Healing.
And if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do so. We want to continue to walk this journey with you. Until next time, friends, know that we are praying for you.
Whatever your goal, trade show giveaways, client gifts, or team gear, 4imprint has the promo products to match. With thousands of options, from apparel and drinkware to tech and totes, it's easy to find the right fit for your brand and budget with standout choices at every price point. And with their 360-degree guarantee, you can be 4imprint certain your order will show up just right on time. Explore more at 4imprint.com.
4imprint, for certain.